Episode 57 of Skibidi Part 2 has just been uploaded, and boom, has done a crazy job. It is by far the craziest and the longest episode ever uploaded. In this video, I'll be covering everything like the betrayal of the TV woman, whether or not the plunger cameraman's gonna survive, the end of Skibidi toilets, and so much more will be answered in this video. So make sure you guys watch all the way to the end for the massive secret that you might have missed in this episode. Episode 57 Part 2 ends with Part 1, showcasing the heroic elite plunger cameraman jetpacking into action. This did not end up in his favor. He gets thrown by the infected Titan speakerman with half of his body missing. Now, this is the first time ever in Skibidi Toilet history that an episode showcased the beginning of a previous episode. Episode 57 Part 2 really kicks off as we see Camera Titan getting up from his last fight with his hammer in his hand. What's really strange about this is that we did not see the hammer at all in Part 1. Now, the last time we saw Titan cameraman using his hammer was in episode 50, protecting the cameraman warehouse, episode 51 with the first person fights, and of course episode 53 when he tried to take out the Skibidi UFO. Now, for some reason in episode 55, he chose not to use his hammer against the fight with the resurrected skull toilet, and it's almost like he forgot his hammer at home or something. He used his hand cannon, which ultimately ended up breaking because he used it at such a close range. Because of this mistake, you can see in episode 57 in Part 1 and in Part 2, he does not have any hand cannons. So instead, in episode 57, he brought his special weapon, his trusty hammer. So the battle against the G-Man starts with Camera Titan opening up his chest energy core. And you can see G-Man then using all 6 of his lasers straight into the Camera Titan's energy core. In episode 57 Part 1, we saw him protect his energy core against the Speaker Titan. But against the G-Man, he opened it so he could have access to all his powerful tools. Now, even though he's getting blasted by these lasers, you can see he isn't even fazed by the lasers hitting his core. This is just making him even more angry than he already is, unleashing his flames and smashing G-Man with his hammer. You can see a similar combo being used in episode 51, where the Camera Titan uses his hammer to break open a Skibidi shield and then blast him with his energy core. Now, at this point, the Camera Titan is super mad. He used his energy core, dropped his hammer into G-Man, and what we don't know is whether or not his hammer is broken from this or destroyed, because the explosion we saw from G-Man was quite large. And as we know later on in the episode, G-Man survives this fight, which we'll get into later how and why he survived, and also some teasers for episode 58. It's at this point, I believe, that the Camera Titan realized his best friend, or his brother, Elite Plunger Man, is hurt or dead on the floor. Camera Titan goes for an angry speed tackle into infected Speaker Titan, and the tackle was so large, even the 3 cameramen on the roof got blown back, and the AC unit they were hiding behind almost crushed them. This is when Camera Titan throws Speaker Titan with some kind of slam, and we have a surprise attack from the Skibidi Samurai arms from episode 47 that we saw in the background against Cinema Man when he teleported away. Funny enough about this is that Camera Titan is so angry that this attack looks like it didn't even hurt him. He literally crushes the Skibidi Samurai sword's head with one clap, and for the rest of the episode, he has swords stuck in him. It's at this very point when the Skibidi Parasite tries to infect the Camera Titan. But I think due to recent upgrades, he's not able to get infected. Now, I'm not really sure on this yet because the Parasite did get a surprise attack on him, but the Camera Titan knew he was there without even seeing him. Is it possible that the Camera Titan and the camera scientists have made it so the cameramen are immune to parasites? But while all this is going on, this gave Speaker Titan enough time to charge up his lasers and shoot Camera Titan in the back. These shots look like they did no damage and gave just enough time for the TV woman to teleport on top of the infected Titan speakerman. Now, what's special about this episode is that we have not seen the TV woman since episode 54, when she saved the cameraman from the glitch toilet. TV woman also appears to have gotten some new upgrades on her hands, which are daggers, similar to the upgrades that TV Man in episode 56 got, but the major difference between them two is that TV woman can fly her head with her jetpack and teleport, when TV Man can only teleport. The last time we saw the TV Man, he was very upset that the cameraman had lost a tank, as you can hear him saying in episode 56. and their one job was to protect the tank. You guys know how that all went. With all this recent action and the failures of the cameraman, I am very happy to see the TV woman in action, because right when she landed, the speaker titan got that same notification sound that he got when the plunger man landed on his back. But the difference here is that the camera titan is able to hold his arms down so he can't stop the TV woman. You can clearly see that something very strange is happening with the speaker man while the TV woman is behind his neck, and that's possibly because the parasite was being eliminated or damaged. It's at this point where things get a little bit scary, because we see that G-Man is alive but very damaged. As he flies in, he literally loses 2 of his laser blasters, and so far has lost his new glasses upgrades and his headphone upgrades. And of course, his face is badly burned. Now, one secret you may have missed is that the camera woman was in this episode. This is actually the first time that we've seen the camera woman and the TV woman in the same episode. So it's pretty exciting. So as soon as she starts shooting her shots at G-Man, so does the POV camera, which is us, with the paralysis blasters. He ends up having to fly off because he realized that his strongest weapon has just now become his strongest enemy. It's at this point you can see clearly that the TV woman has a troubled face. We know that she's eliminated the Parasite Skibidi toilet, but she instantly flies over to the elite plungerman and gets him back to the camera headquarters like she did in the past for us in episode 49. So the big question is the elite plungerman dead? Is it safe to assume that they bring him back to the headquarters and this might be the best thing that ever happened to him? Because he might actually get some seriously strong upgrades like we saw in episode 49 with the broken cameraman on the floor getting repaired, which ends up becoming the mech cameraman in episode 54. But even though that may be some good news, that leaves us in a very sad situation for the love story of the brown suit cameraman. He's officially been left behind by the one woman he loves for another cameraman. Imagine being in love with a woman who has saved you before, for her to just save another guy right in front of you and not even notice you. How depressing, right guys? But this can't be the end for the brown suit cameraman, because he's a fan favorite. And there's no way they leave him here to die. There's gotta be new upgrades coming just for our brown suit cameraman, right? Maybe he possibly gets saved by the camera woman and she becomes his new girlfriend. We're gonna have to wait to see what happens to the brown suit cameraman, because this episode is about to get even more sad but happy. And that's when the camera titan grabs the Skibidi parasite and crushes it with its foot. Ah, that feels so good. But it's at this moment when the speaker titan's core color goes from yellow back to its original color of red. But that doesn't change the fact that the speaker titan has now, over the last 25 episodes, eliminated almost all of his friends. He gets up and clearly looks confused, upset, and probably depressed. He looks down at the speakerman who had his head blown off in episode 57, part 1. And I think he knows he did that. He looks directly at us with the face of, I know I've done a lot to hurt people that love me the most. It's at this point Speakerman probably feels he is better far away from everyone and everything, so he can never hurt someone else again. But the big question is, where does he go? It's officially been 25 episodes since he's had any interactions with this speaker family or any cameramen. Does he try to go back to the camera base headquarters to fix things? Will the cameramen even accept him with open arms? My guess is that he takes some time away from the cameramen to collect his thoughts and figure out a plan on how he can help without ever hurting any of his friends again. The beautiful thing about episode 57 part 2 is that this video ends with the cameraman and the camera titan giving us a thumbs up, covered in samurai blades though, which I think is pretty funny. What I want to know in the comment section is, out of the 57 episodes, technically 58 with part 2, how many of these episodes ended with cameramen giving us a thumbs up? Go count them up and go report back to me in the comment section. The first person that does it wins. Let's see who get the answer right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Bye guys.